how I wanted to start this was give you an insight into home ownership. All right?
You trying to flex?
No, maybe. Maybe I am.
You trying to flex a lifetime of debt in front of me?
So we have a gate, right? And automatic gate. And this isn't a long story. So if you're not a gate enthusiast, please stick around. We'll be getting to the horse racing very, very shortly. But basically, the gate wouldn't shut the other day. It began last week. So I went into the gate supplier. I'm like, hey, can you bring someone out to fix this? They're like, no. It's like, why? Anyway, long story short, basically they're just the supplier. They don't actually have anyone that fixes it. They're like, oh, it'd be super easy to fix it. I'm like, okay, easy. Go in there the first day. Basically need 2 new brackets. Get them $10 each. So I've spent $20 at this point. Anyway, do that. Fixes it for, half a day. Next morning, it doesn't work. Go back in. I'm like, boys, what's happening here?
What's actually going on here?
And there was no shortage of staff at this place, right? And they will remain nameless. But I reckon there was like 10 staff in there, and I was the only customer. I was like, and I was, I just wanted the issue fixed. And we have a little fund for this. So, if it costs like several $100s, then I'm not overly fussed because
the financials are allocated. There's resources available.
Like security's pretty big for me, believe it or not. But anyway, this bloke goes like, mate, actually what we'll do, we'll just go to our warehouse in Melbourne because tons of people just return this stuff without actually using it. And then it's just like refurbished stock. So we'll just get that for you for like $100 instead of like the 800 that's advertised. I'm like, okay. Anyway, I was leaving. I was like, okay, that's great. As I was leaving, I was like, mate, we actually need to get another remote for it as well because Prue and I have been sharing one. And he's like, oh, mate, just take one. I was like, okay, so you have 10 staff there. I'm the only customer.
You're handing out free remotes.
Free remotes. Your brackets are $10 each. Get it for 2 new ones. And then the refurbished product, which is brand new, you give them to me for $100. How are you making money?
How is this profitable for you?
How?
Well, do you know what I'm thinking? Is because what are the warranties around this gate, mate? Because if you're having issues, I reckon everyone has issues, and they're just like chipping you for like $50 here and there, and it's just constant for the lifetime of the gate. So maybe it's just that residual value annuity. Talking financials, maybe it's that
potentially. But he said, when was the gate installed? I had to look through. 2018. He's like, oh nah, it's if you were having issues, they should have raised their head like ages ago.
Righto.
So anyway, gate. I just don't understand like in modern times how a business like that can be thriving.
Mate, I think that all the time. Like when you're driving through, particularly suburbia, and you see these shop fronts like the old shopping centres where it might be 5 or 6 shops. It's one story, and there's always like maybe like a tattoo parlour or a hairdresser's or something like that. I always drive past these shops, and sometimes you see a store that's like, yeah, we specialise in opals, or we specialise in badminton. And I'm like, how do you stay afloat? And you've stayed afloat for so long.
I know.
It's unbelievable. I really don't understand it.
Google Shopping's changed the world, mate.
Yeah, it really has. That's profound. That's so profound.
It is.
Well, there's online shopping and horse racing now. Buy yearlings online. Buy used and abused gelding.
Yes, you can. Now, pony in the room, mint condition. We need to address, I guess, her poor run. Poor run on face value, I might say, at the Sunshine Coast.
Yeah, yeah. Look, I think you could say poor just purely based on the expectations that we had built up, based on the fact that her 2 trials were brilliant, and we weren't the only 2 who had her as the best of the day. There's a few others as well. So, look, yeah. If anything, I'm grateful for the experience of watching a horse that I own run, and yeah, there's plenty of excuses out of it.
Yeah, so she came up shin sore drifters. So there was a footage of the trainer James Healy, who's drifter of the week this week for the $100 strategy.
There you go.
He was basically putting his finger down her shin like that, and she wasn't happy. She wasn't happy. So she came up shin sore, which it was most likely a result of the soft track, which was more like a heavy.
If that was a soft 6, then you can wax my asshole.
They called off the last race.
Oh, it was ridiculous. And she was on the gate, on the rail, sorry, and it was chopped up.
Yeah. So, and, you know, she actually came back in the straight, and maybe this is us with rose-coloured glasses on, sure. But she came back, she fought back really well when she got challenged to about the 150 or so, and then she dropped right out, but she only got beaten by 4 lengths. So she'll be better with cover next time. Good track. Sunshine Coast, good track. I reckon she'll be cherry ripe next time.
100%. And a positive I take out of it, mate, is that she pinged the gates. Her barrier manners are good, and she paraded really well. So heaps of positives to take out of it. And mint condition will be a winner one day. The On the Drift stable, we're swimming in ponies running, because we've also got a horse who's running this weekend in Newcastle.
For the one and only Chris Waller, drifters. You heard that correctly. Mm-hmm. The time-honoured 1,400 metres, 3-year-old and up maiden over the 1,400 metres. Counter is his name. He will lob the top weight, I believe, because he's got the class in the race, drifters. That's why. Clearly
the class in the race. You know, it's a handicap, and we've got to give the other horses a chance. So, yeah, European-bred counter. So in your form guide, he'll be listed as a 3-year-old, but he's technically a Northern Hemisphere 2-year-old. So we anticipate he'll be a lot better in the spring, and that's on the advice of said Chris Waller, who you could, I don't know, define as a master trainer.
Yeah.
He's got some idea about what he's doing, you'd think.
You might see his trials and go like, gee, they were slow. But you'd be correct. But he's just getting into his work. This will be his 3rd run on Australian tracks since he's been here. So we're not expecting anything. Might have something extremely small on him each way, because I think he'll be an each way price, I would have thought. But the fields for that will get finalised Thursday morning. So we'll put that over our socials. Gamble responsibly with the good people at Neds, of course.
100%.
All right. 2 Group 1s this week. Let's get the dross out of the way first, shall we?
Yeah.
This used to be a fantastic race, the Goodwood Handicap, but it's probably suffered since the likes of Santa Ana Lane actually won the race. Now, how I wanted to start this. If I was to tell you that if our really good girl, Mint Condition, had won her Sunshine Coast Maiden on the weekend, with bonus prize money included, would you believe that she would make more money than the 4th placed horse in this race?
You are actually kidding me.
I'm not.
Wow. Oh, mate.
A Sunshine Coast Maiden would make more money than the 4th placed horse in the time-honoured, one of Australia's oldest history races, the Goodwood Handicap, if you run 4th.
Oh, mate, that in itself is a perfect encapsulation of the state of SA racing.
About 29 grand you get for 4th place.
Oh, that's abysmal. That's actually abysmal. I'm without speech. I'm speechless.
Yep. So when you look through this field, I think it's probably fair to say that there's only one Group 1 horse in here, and he is still figuring it out. He's probably still another prep away from being a really tried and true Group 1 horse, and that is number 9, Lofty Strike.
Hey, mate. Kementari, Zutori, Sava2 Excel. There's some Group 1 winners there. But
yeah.
I wouldn't say they're Group 1 horses.
Well, are they in this race and this time of their careers Group 1 horses?
Look,
absolutely
Dan,
not.
Some people say context is everything. Yeah, I tend to agree at times. Yeah.
So the way I saw the race, there was a bit of speed with Savitu Excel, front page, who, you know, he's a pretty decent horse. He's been running in those decent quality races as well. Free Debt probably setting the speed, and then Royal Merchant, Cerades, both of them being cast a little bit wide, so they'll be looking for spots. I think Lofty Strike will just be smoking the pipe out the back, and then the likes of Kalos just gets the absolutely perfect run.
He does, yeah. I think there'll be decent pace in this race, so that'll bring a lot of the horses into it. It'll bring the likes of Lofty Strike into it, bring the likes of Zapateo, Kalos, and another award. See, I completely forgot that this was a handicap race. So I wasn't sort of in my mind thinking about that too much. And so when I saw the field, it's like, oh, gee whiz. I feel like Lofty Strike's actually been treated pretty well at the weights. Horse like Centaurea with 54.5 kilos, he won't know himself because he's been lugging top weights in like Group 2s and Group 3s for the last 3 years, I feel. Another horse as well who really stood out to me, who gets nice weight relief down the bottom, is another award. Number 17. Draws super perfectly as well. Get Stubby Holder on board. He was in fine form last week, riding 5 winners. She ran well above expectations last start. Running second in the Sangstar to Ruthless Dame. But if you go back a couple of races in her prep, she's also won a listed race over 1,200 metres, and she placed as well behind Kalos in a Group 3 prior to the Sangster start. Had 56.5 kilos there. Kalos had 58.5. She's got 52.5 here, and Kalos has got 57. So meets him better at the weights. If she improves on that performance in the Sangstar with the handicap, mate, I think she'll go awfully close, and it's got a sense of fairy tale-ness around it because I truly believe, that's not what I meant to say. I believe that this is her last race before she goes off to stud. So another award, $11 with Ned's, like, that's the value for me.
Mate, I thought you'd miss her. I can't believe the price of her. I think she's a sensational bet in this race. If you can get Lofty Strike beaten, he is by far the best horse in the race, but his pattern is horrific. And another award, everything that you've said, she is right in the game here. Easily the best weighted horse in the race. So she's in my betting strategy as well. I'm keeping it pretty simple. And I'm actually really considering putting her on top as well. So $50 on another award and $50 on Lofty Strike.
Yeah, I like Lofty Strike as well. If you look at that Newmarket form, it's red hot, and his first up running in the Lightning, was it?
Yes.
Yeah,
the Oakley Plate.
The Oakley Plate, yeah. Well, that was actually his second up run after the Rubiton. So freshen up here. Forgive his run in the TJ. Clearly didn't like the heavy deck. He's my on top selection. The other horse that will be in my betting strategy is Kalos. It draws to get the gun rung. Come back a different horse since the ultimate gear change. No Nut Kalos, they call him now. He's $8 with Ned. So there's some value there that I can play with. $50 on Lofty Strike to win. 25 on another award and 25 on Kalos as well. So, yeah, that's how I'm playing the race with a straight bat.
Yeah, mate. And shout out to Mitchell Beer for being one of the great characters of horse racing, for saying that he's not a Group 1 trainer, so he's not putting on a Group 1 jockey for a horse that isn't of Group 1 quality in a Group 1 race with Memnoth. Great to see.
Love that.
Yeah. All right. Doomben. Here we go. The Doomben Cup. Now, Zaki was about $1.15 favourite for this last year, and we called him an absolute morale, and he got rolled by Huerta. Now, this race has gotten... before we actually get into that, I think Heels, just going on his betting strategy, he said $100 on Lofty Strike, just M-word.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
He used the M-word.
Direct quote. M-word? ? So
James Healy. Gee whiz.
But back to the Doomben Cup. I found this a little bit difficult just because Zaki is so short. I had a look through his last 5 runs at the distance, right? And it's bloody hard to go against him. So he's won 2 McKinnon Stakes, Champion Stakes. He's run 4th in a Cox Plate on a heavy 8. He's run 3rd in a Might and Power, beaten less than half a length behind Animo and I'm Thunderstruck. And then he's run 2nd, being run down by the Ride of the Century in the Queen Elizabeth by Think It Over.
Yeah.
So that is by far the best form in the race, and it justifies his $1.95 quote with the good people in Neds.
Yeah, completely agreed. And there's probably people looking at his last start win in the Hollindale thinking, oh, he's vulnerable because he's only just beaten Huerta and Zyrek. Their runs were so much better than his in terms of luck and running. He was 4 wide the trip around the corner facing the breeze and still found. I think there's a lot of merit in that win. So he's my top selection because I just think he'd be overthinking it for him not to be. Yeah, look, I'd love to have better than $2, but I feel like the quote is justified with him. Now, my girl Jewess, forget she even ran in the spring because she had a bone chip, which they didn't find. For a long time, they had to have 3 scans on her legs to find the bone chip, and the vet said that definitely would have impacted her spring prep. So I think you just put a line in that entire prep. I think her best over 2,000 metres is good enough to beat Zaki. Concern is she's first up after a 28-week break. Second concern is I'm looking at this race and I'm seeing some early speed from the likes of Zaki, the likes of Numerian. But even Zaki, if he does lead, he's not going to go super quick because he's going to conserve his energy. I think Jewess needs to truly run 2,000 metres because she's more of that sort of staying type middle distance horse. So she's definitely going to have some of mine for my betting strategy because I'm not letting her go around without it. So I'm just going to have $20 on Jewess because she's $17 with Neds, and I wouldn't be surprised if she starts a bigger price. If you see the money coming for her on the day, it means she's clearly right and she's in with a chance, but I think that's all I need on her, and then I've got $80 on Zaki.
Okay. It's interesting that you mentioned Numerian because I saw them as basically the only 2 leaders in the race, but they are the stablemate as well. So there is no way that Numerian is going to kick up under Zaki here. I don't think so. I think J-Mac is going to have right away and he's going to plonk him out in front, probably one off the fence because it has been raining pretty fiercely in Brisbane, and Doomben is not a good draining track, so I'm expecting it to be in the soft 7, heavy 8 range, despite there being beautiful blue skies. Sun
shines on my baby. Yeah, I think I'm probably thinking more like soft 6, soft 7, to be honest. Maybe soft 5 if we're lucky, but yeah, I agree. Last year as well, you've got to remember, it was actually run at Eagle Farm, so it was over further and on a track that probably doesn't suit Zaki as much. So I think he was vulnerable up there. Tight track like Doomben. Yeah, you're right. One off the rail, J-Mac, just plonk him.
So I can't really see anything else really challenging Zaki for the lead here. But I've been a fan of Huerta's prep. I think he's a horse that just needs racing in him. And I think we're starting to see the best of him. So I did really like his run last start. It kind of like had that flashing light. Are you going to be the Zaki killer again? So I want to be on side with him. And I think Zyrek, again, he hasn't done much wrong this prep either. I think he's the one from the soft draw that could kick up and just be on Zaki's back. So I'm actually playing this in a way that I haven't played all year, and that's $100 Quinella between those 3. So if Zaki and Huerta run top 2, then, probably getting about 8-1 30 times. And then obviously something a bit better with Zyrek and Zaki. But if Huerta and Zyrek are the blowouts, then it could pay anything.
Money.
So we haven't touched on Kovaklika.
Yeah, we haven't touched on Kovaklika at all. But I respect his ability and talent. I think he's too short. $7.50 with Neds. Setback. He was supposed to be going up against his own sex in the Rough Habit. He would have started even favourite there. Which I think he would have won, and I think he's rightful favourite for the Derby, but this is a bit of an acid test from the wide gate. Going to have to loop all of them at Doomben. I think Chris Waller's just going to say, plonk him out the back. I want to see him coming home really strong, maybe run into the placings, but no, the Derby's his grand final.
If he's good enough to win, he's good enough to win. Take him on because, I don't know, a week for a foot abscess, I don't know. I'm not a horse trainer, but I don't know. I'm happy to risk him. So, Okay, we have 3 different heels. What do you say? I think he's on the 3-year-old, actually.
Kovalika.
Yeah, he is. Let me just quickly... You pad for a second because I'm getting his thing up.
What sort of pads are we talking? Like batting pads?
Yeah, bruh. That's it. All right. Kovalika, the up-and-comer. Horror draw, but a class act. Last week's scratching could be a blessing in disguise. Happy to take on Zaki. Would have preferred another 2,000-metre run under his belt. It's fair. It is fair. 3 jurisdictions. Let's start in Rosehill. There's 1 race there. Race 9, the Lord Mayor's Cup, 2,000 metres listed race. Now, I thought there was 2 horses that were a sensational bet in this race. Starting with number 2, Desert Icon, who actually lost a couple of his plates last start and was still only beaten a couple of lengths in the Goodwood Cup. So I think he's one that I want to have on side at the $18. Barrier 8 is perfect for him. The other one is number 15, Pretty Amazing. I think she is dual accepted for a Fillies and Mares race in Brisbane, but 53 kilos, if she heads this way, she'll be awfully hard to beat. Looks like a Chris Waller special, this. 1,800 metres, drop down to the mile, just get it ticking over for the grand final, which could be this race here. $15 looks an absolute gift if she heads this way. So they're 2 that I'm going to play in the race.
I would probably stick with Navajo Peak here. Backed at last start. Ran second, just like a lot of my things have recently. $7 with Ned's. Happy to forgive from the nice gate. Cousin Jones on board, Reece Jones. So, yeah, Navajo Peak.
Hey, don't get too victimy there. A lot of my things have been recently.
I'm just acknowledging the truth. That's all. It is what it is.
Right. Let's head to Morphettville and finish on a high with Brisbane. So, race 3, the David Coles AM Stakes. 1,200 metres, Group 3 for the 2-year-olds. I thought this was pretty hard to gauge, but I am trusting my eye with one here, and that is number 8, Down Low. Now, might have been beaten 4 lengths behind Chilled. But the step up to 1,200 metres, there was 1,050 there. I think that's right in her wheelhouse. I'm happy to play at the $11 there, opposed to about the $3 or $4 with Chilled.
Yeah, fair. I backed Chilled last start, so no reason to jump off.
That's as simple as you need to be. Race 4 is the South Australia Fillies Classic. Now, there is one horse that I did highlight a couple of weeks ago, and I think she's almost one of the bets of the day, and that is number 6, Whispering Lady. So she was the first filly home in the Chairman's Stakes against the boys. Look, barrier 1's probably not the best, but if she can lob midfield, if Craig Williams can give her an absolute peach of a ride, I think she's right in the game here. $7.50. I think she's the massive overs in the race.
I like Moy Lass out of the Oaks. She was running last there, had to loop the widest and came home really nicely for 6. So with a bit more luck in running, I think she would have finished closer. She's an out-and-out stayer, this thing, so over 2,500 metres. Yeah, Moy Lass the one for me.
Yeah, she was my pick in that in the Oaks as well, and I did consider, but she was $20+ that day, and they put up $3.90, so I'm happy to just look the other way with the value there.
So let it go through to the keeper.
Well, her maiden victory, guess who ran 2nd or 3rd there?
Who?
Bengal Boy.
Bengal Boy.
Nearly one of the great tips of all time. Nearly, which means
close.
it was nowhere near it.
Yet no cigar.
All right, the Lee Stakes, race 5, Group 3, set weights penalties over the mile. I found this absolutely impossible.
Yeah, I can't split Foxy Frida and Party Princess. I like Party Princess on the quick backup. It's staying at 1,600 metres but dropping weight. So, yeah, Party Princess. But Foxy Frida, I feel like last start she was nearly there, and it took a pretty smart filly to run it down. So, yeah, I'm not really sure. And they've drawn next to each other as well. So one of them, I'll back one of them. I'm just not sure which one yet.
Party Princess is probably on top for me, but
what about Sosie Bon? He ran really well last start.
I was contemplating old Sosie, but then I was like, what are you doing to yourself?
Mate, this is going to be his 92nd start.
Unbelievable.
How good.
How good is that? All right, race 6 is the Thomas Farms Centaurea. That's how you say that word?
Centaurea?
Centaurea
I'm not sure, mate.
Stakes. The time-honoured 2028 metre listed race for the Fillies and Mares. This I thought was difficult. I went with number 8, Thought Provoking. On top, pardon me. This mare beat home Cap du Roi last start, and she's nearly double the price. So that is, she's last 3 runs, she's run second. Surely Benny Mellon can get her over the line for first here.
Yeah, not a lot of confidence. I'm backing number 11, Starry Ann. Again, that Oaks form, she ran nicely there. Out of the right sort of camp too. She's $9 with Ned, so she's my pick there.
Mm-hmm. All right, race 7 is the Petaluma Proud Miss Stakes. 1,200 metres Group 3 for the Fillies and Mares. I feel like we're going around in circles here. Any firm opinion in this race?
Yeah, I didn't mind Snapped, but no particular firm opinion. Been thereabouts, was close behind, like the likes of Saradas was close behind Snapped, who's the favourite. Was close behind Foxycon, who's the favourite in this race. So, yeah, not a lot of confidence, but yeah, Snapped. Probably those silks more than anything.
Number 3, Hypothetical for me, 6-week let up. So it's resuming back here, has form around Zapateo. I think the key to this girl is a firmer track. She didn't quite get the job done on the soft 7 last start. So if they do get that good track, which it's there or thereabouts because there is rain in Adelaide, not a lot. For Friday and Saturday, but there is some there. So if it is heading into that soft 6 range, I'm not interested at all. So,
no, fair.
I think that's it. Let's go to Brisbane. Race 3 is the Bill Carter Stakes for the 2-year-old Fillies, 1,200 metres listed race. Now, I'm finding these 2-year-olds a bit difficult to find out at the moment in Brisbane. So I'm going to go with the one that, is the most striking, and that is number 4, Abounding. Lovely filly to look at. I think big baldy face on her, a few socks on her. Really good to see. Russian Alliance only just got her beaten in the Ken Russell last start at the Sunshine Coast. I love her pattern. Should lob in the first 4 there. Barrier 11 is a bit sticky, but, I think she can get the chockies.
Yeah, Russian Alliance, who you just mentioned, got the picket fence, so yeah, happy to stick with her.
The thing I am getting a little bit worried about for these fillies is the amount of starts that they're having. And because with 2-year-old fillies and 2-year-olds in general, I only really like to bet on them for about 4 runs of prep or so. And then it's just kind of like a war of attrition. And I feel like a lot of these have a bigger target in mind. So there could be something that's early in the prep that really pops up here over the next couple of weeks. Race 4 is the Pam O'Neill Fillies and Mares 3-year-old Handicap. Set weights penalties, 1,600 metres. Group 3. Now, did you have any firm opinion here?
Well, I'm letting Written Beauty go through to the keeper, but
No
I'm jumping on another enigmatic horse with J-Mac on. That's number 10, Frumos.
Yes.
Lugged the top weight, 60 kilos last start, and I thought it was battling on pretty well in a heavy deck. Should be in the softer range, as we said, this weekend. J-Mac on, draws well. $9 with Neds. Yeah, Frumos for me.
She's one of the ones as well. I'm hoping that Pretty Amazing just stays in Sydney because...
Make your life easier.
I'd have to have a bet on her if she's in this race with Hot Nash on board. But I agree. Frumos. How many times do we see these Waller enigmatic horses that can't really get the job done in the big smoke? Drop down only a small little tier, come up here, and then they just absolutely tear this.
Get a bit of the
apart.
Queensland sun on their back and just build some confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're 100% right.
Absolutely. Race 6 is the Chief de Beers, one of the great Doomben horses of all time.
100%.
The 1110 metre listed race. I found this extremely difficult.
Yeah, I found it tough too. I'm going to, and when it's a bit of a stinky race, like I'm going to go to the tried and true method of finding the Godolphin thing at odds, which worked last week. I just didn't back it with character, for fuck's sake. That's number 6, Zethus, or Zethus. It comes out of the Hawkesbury Rush, the Malkovich race. Very Fine Red also came out of that. Look, that form didn't really stack up super strong last week, but Zethus at $13 a Nez is the one for me.
Yeah, I sided with Bacchanalia here, the other Godolphin stablemate. Form around Remark, Clemenceau, Coal Crusher, that sort of grade. Think About It last start, who I have a bit of opinion of. I think he can be good enough to win this race at $7.50. So, you know what? Let's just chuck those two in the quaddie and let's be done with it. Race 8, the BRC Sprint. Now, this is a hell of a race.
It's a great race.
This is a fantastic race. You have the likes of Scalapini, who was just treating Flemington with disregard. Cardinal Gem, who's one of ours. Holyfield, who's been a friend of ours as well. Coal Crusher, as we mentioned. Dragon Leap has form around bloody I Wish I Win. Bacchanalia could be racing here too. It goes on, but I think they're probably the main chances.
Yeah. Yeah, this is an interesting race. Dark Destroyer is an interesting horse. He ran 4th in the Queensland Derby last year, over 2,400 metres. He would have started just about favourite there. And then he goes back to New Zealand in the spring and wins a sprint on a heavy deck, which was a G1 of 1,400 metres. So, yeah, he's an interesting horse. He lugs some weight here, and I think he does need a bit of a softer, heavy deck, which he should get. So, he's a watch for me just to see what the hell he's like coming back for his 4-year-old season. So, he hasn't raced since September last year. So, I think they might be thinking Stradbroke for him if he runs well. I'm looking through the field, and yeah, Cardinal Gem, obviously, big chance. Things like Coal Crusher, Dragon Leap, Bacchanalia, I think Excelida, sorry, out of the Ben and JD Hayes stable for an older mare. Like, she could come in and run a big race, but I'm probably leaning towards Coal Crusher. I think he's just going to park up real nicely up on the pace and around that Doomben sort of bend. He's probably the one for me at $6.50 with Neds. Plus, I really like his soft form. So, Coal Crusher, he's probably treated pretty well at the weights too. So, he's the one for me.
Yeah, I agree. I really want to back
Cardinal
Gem here, but Barry 21 at Doomben, it's going to make it so difficult. I'll have to have something.
21.
I'll have to have something small on him, because if he wins, I'll be physically ill. Because he's been such a good friend to us.
He has.
But number 1, Scalapini, mate. He proved that he can lug the top weight and still win at Flemington. So he has form around on those soft tracks. He's won at Doomben before. I think he is a bloody good horse that is constantly underrated in the market. $5.50. Yeah, why not?
Why not?
All right, and we end the program with the roses for the 3-year-old fillies. Are you with Renaissance Woman?
Yeah, she was pretty impressive last start, wasn't she? Put him to the sword and should get better out over further. So, Renaissance Woman, yeah, not in a big way though. Like, I want to see it again. But yeah, keen to see Fireburn. If Wolverine bounces back and wins, I think I will be physically ill. Some interest in Sakura Girl as well. Who's got form around Penny Hueca over in New Zealand, and from what we've seen, the staying fillies over there are a lot better than ours this year. So yeah, more of a watch race for me. What about you?
Mate, I'm going back to the well with Fireburn. I think for the first time since her 2-year-old season. Why not?
Why not?
So she was really finding some better form over those staying distances. I think the 2,500 metres probably found her out. But I think around the 2,000 metres, I think she can run a really nice race. Now, Renaissance Woman, am I taking $3 for a horse that's drawn barrier 1 that is probably going to be worse at midfield? Absolutely not. Because the other jocks will know exactly where she is and park that bad boy right on the fence. And I don't think she'll get out. So you'll probably just get a better price for the Oaks if you like that girl. Fireburn, though, I think they'll forget about her. She'll be,
Stalking.
3 wide, hopefully around midfield. She did prove that she can sit up on speed in those staying races as well. Cut her out of the ground. I think she's right in the game. Happy to side with her at like the $6 or $7 with Neds. And that's all she wrote.
That is all she wrote.
What are you getting up to this weekend, mate?
I'm going to join some other like-minded owners of our horse, our Counter, watch his debut race and have a couple of quiet ones. Yeah, again, it's good to have a play in the Winter Carnival. They're finishing with a Group 2 race, which is just lovely to see. So, yeah. Papa Hutch's birthday this weekend.
Yes, mate. Going out to Redcliffe to some hotel. So that'll be nice. So we'll be watching Counter from the pub, I would believe. Might have to duck away for about 10 minutes. But, yeah, it should be good. And then on Sunday, where Prue got her mum for her birthday, like one of those family photo shoots.
Oh, really?
So I've got to do that.
Yeah. No, not for me, that sort of stuff. No.
Carol does listen, so she'll probably hear that. But, it'll be a nice little memory that we create,
Oh, look, yeah, I agree. I'm just, like, if I had to do that, I'd be like, really? I don't feel like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Would I rather be playing golf? Probably.
Yeah. Yeah. But,
That's
there's just things that you have to do.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Like watching the races this weekend, Drifters, that's just some things that you have to do.
Look, it's a labour of love, watching the ponies. It is what it is. This is part of my schedule. and everything else has to work around that schedule. Simple as that. It's pretty basic stuff, really.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm grateful for that. I'm mindful. I'm grateful. I'm empathetic.
May God bless you.
Yeah.
All right. That's enough. Goodbye.
Bye.